What do you think is the one key thing that will give you the space to create the kind of life that you want to live? It's the small things within your control that you can do to protect your time and energy without feeling stressed, setting boundaries. So let's quickly unpack how to set boundaries that work without being mean or rude or feeling guilty about it. And to stop feeling guilty about setting boundaries, we need to understand first and foremost that it's all about us, not about changing other people or telling people what they should be doing. It's more to do with how we want to be treated and what's okay with us and what's not. Like, we don't share our password with people not because we don't like them, but because we want to protect our personal space, right? It's a boundary and it's mostly and mainly about us. People can sure like or dislike the choices we make, but the thing is, we are in no way responsible for how people feel about those choices. That's what it means to set boundaries, making clear distinction between what's our responsibility and what's not. How our life shapes up is our responsibility. Our feelings are our responsibility. But how others feel about those is their responsibility. And keeping that in mind, the first step is to identify which boundaries we need, right? So ask, what isn't working for me right now? What is it that makes me feel irritated or frustrated or exhausted? Or who do I feel resentful against because I feel I'm being pushed to do something? These are the questions that will help us narrow down the areas in our life that would work better with some limits and structure in place. Can you see how the common idea in all these questions is that they are all situations that make us feel stressed? You know, the stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol left coursing through our body after we have dealt with some stressful situation is not really good for our mental and emotional and physical health. Have you ever felt exhausted after dealing with someone? It's because of that. And that's also why going for a run or taking it out on a punching bag sometimes feels really good afterwards. So now the question is, what will make you feel better? What is it that will protect your time, energy, your space, your emotions? But keep in mind what is and isn't in your control. And also try to be as specific as you can, because clear, straightforward boundaries work way better than the vague ones. So what is it that you would like to say no to so that you have more time and energy to say yes to the things that you really want to, which would essentially give you a better sense of control over your life. And finding which boundaries to set is a very important step because it gives us so much clarity about what it's going to change for us, and also why is that change important for us. And it's the biggest thing that will help you navigate through all the pushback, all those why are you being so difficult questions that more often than not pop up when you are trying to set boundaries. And there's an art to it, an art to how to set boundaries without being rude. And the key is to stay calm, non-accusing, yet expressing clearly and firmly what your limits are. Sure, sometimes it might feel like we are about to step into a very uncomfortable conversation and we would better avoid it. It's easier, but it's not really helpful because it's really important to know how to set boundaries in our relationships, because we can't always be there for the people in our life. You can try, but it's exhausting and not really practical because we also have other things going on in our life, right? So a lack of healthy boundaries can leave everyone involved feeling drained or guilty or resentful of each other. A lack of boundaries hurt relationships. And if you're feeling a bit jittery about it, try practicing it first on your own. What would you say? I like to do this because it makes me feel more prepared about how others might react and how I would prefer to respond to that. It makes me feel more in control, more confident about it. It's really important that we stay calm and give them our full attention. So pick the right time and place to have that boundaries conversation. It shows that we are being respectful of them, and use more I sentences than you sentences. Like, I feel this when this is said to me, because you feels a bit confrontational, whereas I lowers the chances of people becoming defensive. And when we aren't being confrontational, when we aren't coming across as confrontational, people tend to listen to us more. And rather than overloading someone with too many details, this, and that, just pick the one that is bothering you most and focus on that. Be clear on what you are expecting and what's not acceptable to you. Don't just assume that they would simply know. And if there's pushback, like that's very selfish of you, or this didn't bother you before, so why now? It's better to simply acknowledge that you understand why they might be feeling so, but it is something that works for you and is important for you. People don't usually like change, especially if they feel it's something that's going to make things difficult for them. And so they go into the survival mode, the fight, flight, or freeze mode. And so they start either pushing back or guilting you, or maybe even start gaslighting. But it's all their choice, and we are not responsible for how anyone feels about the choices we make for our life, which are right for us. And once we let people know what's okay and not for us, it's really important that we stick to those boundaries, because otherwise it creates confusion. People don't know what they can expect from us, where they stand with us, or what they can count on us for. And it becomes one of those why not conversations, the ones where we have less and less energy for, to the point where we can't go through another one of those, and we ultimately decide to just go with the flow. But going with the flow doesn't make things easier. It only adds to the resentment, which is bound to come out sooner or later. So we understand that sticking to our boundaries is important, right? But here's the twist. Rigid, inflexible boundaries don't work. Neither do the fuzzy or loose open ones, because neither of them helps encourage respect in a relationship, the key to any kind of healthy relationship. Inflexible boundaries make it feel like we are building walls around us, and the open ones make it really easy for people to take advantage of our time and energy. So aim for the Goldilocks approach, the sweet spot. Clearly stated, flexible and adaptable boundaries. See, life isn't black and white. It's a lot of shades of gray. Like, for example, while you might not be a hugger, a hug from the right person when things haven't been going our way can feel kind of nice and comforting, right? It's all about what feels right in the moment, keeping in mind why you set that boundary in the first place. Does the choice still make you feel as you would like to, or does it make you feel irritated or exhausted or angry? Because that's how it feels when a boundary has been crossed. It makes us feel uneasy, irritated, or disappointed, or angry. Those are the indicators. And depending on our experience, we can decide whether we would like to stick to it or change and adapt it to what would work better for us, right? And the one thing that can make all this easier, do it more confidently, is to not let self-doubt question the validity of our needs or hold you back from letting people know what's okay and not with you. And this video over here shows some very simple and effective ways of doing that. Check it out. I hope you found this video useful. Take care, and I'll meet you right over there.